Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel, my friend. Guys, today I'm out here, which I'm out here every day, getting some more of these habanero peppers. Now these habanero peppers here, there's 4 plants right here, guys, and I ain't no telling how many habanero peppers I've got off here. But these ain't hot habanero peppers. These are the, I don't know if you want to call them hotless or non-hot. When I ordered the seeds, they were called habanero non-hot grilling peppers, is what they were called. And I'm gonna tell you, these are some good peppers. That's how many peppers I've been getting off here about every day to every other day. And guys, these things have still got a lot of peppers on them. A lot of green ones. I wished I could. You can't never do it when you're harvesting everything, but I'd love to know how many peppers I've got off of just these 4. All of my peppers is loaded down this year. But guys, that ain't what this video is about. Today I'm gonna give y'all a little gardening tips, a couple of little gardening tips. Some people do what I'm going to show y'all and some people don't, but I like doing it. I'm going to show you how you prune your squash and how I keep my okra pruned down. So let's go over here to the squash first. You see these squash plants, they just take over. And normally I wouldn't plant this many squash, but usually the vine borers come in and they kill my squash. So this year I said I'm just going to plant more squash. Well, this year I've been lucky, and the only thing the vine borers got in was 2 of my zucchini squash that was over in a raised bed, and that's been a month ago. I think that was on one of the videos. But ain't no vine borers hit these. And actually a few days ago down on the other end, I just cut 2 up just because they was getting so big and so thick. Now I done pruned these down a lot, but I still come in here in the evenings when I got a little time and I'll do a little more pruning so I can keep them under control. So I'm gonna get y'all over here closer and I'm gonna show you how you prune your squash. Y'all can see this squash vine comes out of the ground right here. And this is how long this came all the way around. And you can see over time where I've trimmed it. I trimmed the limbs as the vine grows, the main stem here grows. I just continue trimming. And every day I come out here and I just take a few of these off. And sometimes some of them will be yellow leaves and stuff. I go on and cut them off. Just leave the ones on the end, or if any of them's broke off, just go on and trim them off, whether they on up in there or not. If they already broke, they ain't gonna do nothing. But that's how I trim my squash. Here's another good one right here. You can see this vine comes out way back here on the back. This in here fork went 2 different ways. Well, this way is about 4 foot long. And you can see it's just getting taken over the whole, I can't even walk down through here, taking over the whole aisle. Where it makes your squash is on down here on the end where it makes your blooms in your squash. So you can keep all these vines cut off. It gives it more air, keeps your mildew down. All this humid weather and rain. But we just gonna trim a little few of these off this afternoon. I jump over here to this side on the vine coming off the other way, and this here done split and making some little squash right here on this end. But see how jumbled up all that is? I mean, it don't need all them leaves. Now, a lot of people throw this stuff like this in their compost pile. But I don't throw nothing out of my garden in the compost pile unless it's lettuce or greens or something. But this stuff's already got some, you can see with all the rain we've been getting, it's got a little mildew on it. So I don't put nothing, no kind of disease, none of my tomatoes, I don't put nothing in my compost pile out of my garden. They get enough disease without putting something with disease in your compost. There's a good pretty squash. It don't matter if you mess up and cut one that's not back on the back of the vine. It ain't gonna hurt a thing. Like I said, it just allows it to have more breeze way through there for the air to go through. Some people say that it slows the production of the squash down, but when you got more squash and getting more squash than you need, hey, I'm ready to slow down, hard as it is. But if you want to keep them going and keep them alive, this is a tip for y'all: prune your squash. So guys, I'm gonna continue down through there pruning, and then we get done, I'm gonna show y'all how big of a pile of mess I pruned off of here. And like I said, I just pruned these a couple of days ago. And you'll see how much you can prune off and how much it just lets you have more airflow. Now guys, this is how big of a pile I just pruned off of them squash. And I do that about every 3 or 4 days. But like I said, it keeps the airflow where the air can go through there. After rains and this humidity, it keeps them dried out. My squash is still producing good. I just picked them this morning, but apparently I missed that one a while ago. But I get 5 to 8 to 10 squash. It seems like I get about 5 squash one morning and 8 to 10 the next. Seems like how it's working. In the morning is going to be one of the slack mornings. It's going to look like it ain't going to be but about 5 big enough. But then the next morning, there's some of them others, if things grow like wildfire overnight. So let's move over here to the okra now. Now on the okra, you see I got 3 different varieties. I got Clemson Sprineless, Red Burgundy, and Jambalaya. With this red burgundy, you can see it's growing the tallest. Now I just gave it a good trimming a few days ago, but now I'm coming back getting a few other limbs. But on your okra will make more okra if you don't prune it. But it's just so much easier to gather your okra when I keep them pruned. And for example, like this one right here, you can see where it's making the okra and making the blooms. So all you need to do is keep about 4 to 6 main limbs coming up, and that's all you need. Anything below that you can keep taking off. Like this one right here next to it. See, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 limbs with leaves on it. So this one here can be taken off. That way it won't just keep growing out and taking the energy. And it just makes it so much easier because you can kneel down in here and get your okra without getting all that okra. A lot of people that okra eat them up, makes them itch. I'm the other way around. The okra don't bother me, but I'm itching like wildfire right now from cutting that squash. The squash makes me itch. Like I said, I keep my okra pruned like this. That way I can walk up here and I can harvest my okra. I ain't got limbs all wrapping around my head trying to get up in here. But like this red burgundy now, you gotta watch. You see these limbs on it? It's got blooms on this one, and it's got 4 main stems that's got blooms on it. This is the first time I ever grew this red burgundy, but it turns into different, kind of like a sucker on a tomato. It'll start, and then it starts making its own. So I can't cut these off now. So like this okra stalk right here, it's got 4 main stems coming down. Your main one's in the center, and then it's got 3 coming off of it that's got blooms and little okras on it. But if every few days you'll come out here and do that, you won't have to take off many at one time. Now the other day I done let these go, and when I came out here I had a pile of it because I had to start at the bottom and come all the way up. But now I got it under control, so anytime I'm out here in the garden I might just see one sticking out and I'll whack it off and maybe trim a little bit like I'm doing right now, 15 or 20 of them off. But you can keep it under control. But guys, I know this was a short little video. This is just one of my little quick garden tip videos for y'all. Keep your okra and keep your squash pruned. You can keep them producing, and they'll keep on going to where, especially the squash, if you don't keep it pruned, it's gonna get diseases, mildews, and it's gonna die out. You keep it pruned, we can get that air in there. As long as don't no vine borer come through and get in it, you can keep them things growing all summer as long as you keep a little water on them. Now yeah, the hotter it gets, once it gets so hot, the production will slow down, but you'll still get enough to have you fresh squash. That way we ain't got to eat what we put in the freezer. We can keep us some fresh squash as long as we can. And then this winter when you ain't growing no squash, then we eat what's in the freezer or we put up. But guys, I hope you like these little quick tip videos. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. God bless, and y'all have a great day. See y'all next time.